Hey, MCARBO brother, I'm Chris Nelson, president of MCARBO. Really excited to introduce new KEL-TEC P3AT P32 extended magazine release out of stress-proof carbon steel. A fantastic improvement over the plastic factory magazine release. You've got a steel magazine, you need to have a steel mag release. Steel on plastic will wear out, especially with a carry pistol when your life counts on it. Bad news. So we want steel on steel, a fantastic improvement, really phenomenal machining here. You can see how that extended magazine release is just way more functional, way more helpful and conducive to what you're trying to achieve. Obviously faster reloads or just nice solid lockup so that you don't have any sort of failure to feeds. Really fantastic improvement, really happy with this. Let's get on over to tabletop, put this baby in. All right, before we get started, let's go ahead and check our firearms together, make sure they're clear. Go ahead and drop the mag. All right, check the chamber, check the bolt face, check the magazine well. This firearm's clear. All right, now the P3AT, go ahead and drop the mag. Check the chamber, check the bolt face, magazine well, this firearm's clear. And now we got the P32 here, mainly for demo purposes. We got the mag here, it's empty, and just a bare frame. Just want to show you how they all interact with one another and some of the comparisons between the two. Let's jump on in this. All right guys, just want to do a real quick comparison, PF9, P3AT, and the P32. Now let's go ahead and just take a look at the magazine. Steel magazine, we've got a steel mag release, all right? Very important, and you can hear that interference. I'm even going to show you here. If you look down in there, you'll see the mag release, right? And you see how the magazine will hit. It's going to hit this steel mag release, all right? So whenever we throw that mag in, it's going to hit, and there's some real solid interference there. You've actually got to push pretty hard. That magazine has got to push up on that mag release and actually push through it. So there's quite a bit of interference there. What that could lead to some serious wear, especially if you've got a steel magazine and you've got a plastic mag release, all right? So there's that wear element. Eventually, these mag releases will wear out. Now, these are cheaper pistols than the PF9, so granted, from the factory, you know, that's where the cost savings is. But this is a very critical piece of hardware for your pistol that you really need in order to actually get smooth functioning operation. You need a good solid mag release. The magazine needs to stay inserted properly. If this thing wears and the magazine isn't fully seated, you're going to get failure to feeds. It's going to be a huge problem. So what we need to make sure of is that we've got a good steel mag release that will be compatible with the steel magazine that won't wear out when we insert a mag. So we've got a plastic mag release in there now and a steel magazine. And that's right there on the P3AT. Now here in the P32, same deal. All right, you've got a plastic magazine release. You can see the part line there in the middle, and you've got a steel magazine, all right? And when we actually insert it, and we'll take a good look here, you'll see how that steel magazine will hit, you see on the right side there, it's gonna hit that plastic mag release, and it's gonna do that every time. So it's not long that it'll eventually wear out, eventually won't function properly, eventually won't be fully seated, and that's gonna be a serious problem. All right, so here we go, you got two frames, pretty much identical. You got the P3AT here on the left and the P32 here on the right. You can just see how close these things are, just amazing. So it is compatible. This new steel mag release that we've got is compatible for both pistols, the P32 and the P3AT. Really fantastic upgrade. Let's jump on into this. Parts and tools needed for this build: the KEL-TEC P3AT P32 steel mag release by MCARBO, bench block, full-size hammer, flathead screwdriver, regular size, a micro finer tip flathead screwdriver, needle nose pliers, flashlight, pen light, little file if you got it, razor blade, 1/8 inch punch, and a 1/16 inch punch. All right, so we're gonna jump into the disassembly of the P3AT here in a second, but it's primarily the same between the P3AT and the P32. I've got the P32 frame here, and I just wanna show you, you know, we got the plastic molded mag release in there right now. We've got the steel magazine, and every time you get to this point right here, you've got the mag inserted, you hit a little bit of resistance. That plastic and that steel magazine are interacting with one another, right? And you have to push through it, and it's shaving and wearing a little bit of that polymer mag release each and every time, and it's just a matter of time, enough cycling of the magazine that it's going to actually just wear out completely, not hold the mag, or induce some malfunction. So the great thing is we're going to go ahead and we're going to put in this A311 carbon steel, stress-proof steel mag release replacement for this plastic molded part. Fantastic improvement, can't wait to get it in. So I'm going to demo it on both of these, the P32 and the P3AT. Just got the frame here, it'll be much easier, simpler. It's relatively the same process. One of the nice things is it's universal, it'll fit for both. I'm going to demo a little bit of the trimming that might be needed. All right, it's case by case. These are plastic polymer frames, so there is going to be some burrs. It's going to be not as clean as what you might expect. So it's molded. You can see here some of this stuff hanging off. You know, you're going to see lots of little flakes of plastic, not a lot of straight edges. You know, it is a molded part. So we're going to have to go through that, clean it up a little bit so that it's a nice, smooth, functioning part. Once we install this steel mag release, it needs to function smoothly. All right, so we're going to go ahead and jump into the P3AT. All right, first thing we're going to do is take our little micro flathead screwdriver, push back a little bit on the slide, just enough there. All right, see how I've got it gripped? And I'm going to go ahead and get in behind that takedown pin there. All right, and pop up on it. It'll come right out. Hear that snap? Pull it right out. All right, there's the takedown pin. Set that aside. Okay, now we'll go ahead and pull forward on the slide, separate both. So now we've got the slide. You can see the recoil spring here. Go ahead and pop that off. All right, and then we'll go ahead and pull the barrel out, just for the sake of doing it. Okay, set that aside. All right, so go ahead and set the slide barrel and recoil spring, recoil guide aside. Now we can go ahead and remove this aluminum frame from the plastic pistol grip. All right, so what we're going to do there, and it's not entirely necessary if you can actually remove that spring. If you've got the pliers, or if you just want to pop it out with your flathead, that's something that could easily be done. All right, getting it back in will be a little bit more challenging, right? So I'm just going to go ahead and show you how to disassemble the entire thing. It's real simple and easy. All right, first thing we need to do is take our regular size flathead, pull up on this hammer spring catch and just push it forward. All right, we want it to drop right into the magazine well there. It's under a good amount of tension. And you can see this thing's pretty chewed up on ours. We've taken it apart quite a few times. Just a plastic part, this hammer spring catch. So if you want an aluminum replacement, let us know. We can definitely do something like that. So now that the tension is released on the hammer, all right, we can remove the internal frame. We'll go ahead and take our bench block. We're going to tap out these two plastic pins right here. All right, so we're going to take our 1/8 inch punch, center it up and tap away. Now these are pretty snug, so it's nice to have a full-size hammer to do this. And you can see these are just plastic. You know, they tend to wear a little bit, so if this is a replacement, if you'd like to see something steel, we could certainly do that. That'd be very easy, just let us know. And you can see we got a trigger prototype here we're working on. So really excited about it, flat trigger, gonna be great. All right, and these two pins are universal, so no need to worry about them. Now that we got the pins removed, we can separate this actual aluminum frame from the plastic grip. All right, so what we're going to do is take our 1/8 inch punch, we're going to stick it right here into the takedown pin hole, and we're going to pull up on it. Now when we pull up, slowly pull up on the front, leaving the rear intact, leaving it into the plastic. All right, and as we're doing this, we're just doing it enough so that we can get a nice little grip on it, because we're going to actually put our finger over this trigger bar here. All right, because that trigger return spring is going to want to snap. It'll snap you right in the thumb there. So we're pulling up. And over here, finger over the slide stop spring, okay? Just so you keep it in place and they don't fly away on you. We're gonna remove them, but we just want them to stay intact for right this second, okay? So now we can go ahead and lift up on the trigger bar, and we're just gonna let that snap forward. All right, now we can set the trigger bar aside. And now this slide stop spring, it'll stay in place on the P3AT, not a big deal. Now on the PF9, that's a different story. But we can go ahead and just leave all this together like it is, which is fine. Now we can focus on replacing the actual mag release. All right, so it's much easier to replace the mag release now. So just take notice of the orientation of the spring here. One thing to consider is that longest part of the leg on this spring is actually inside the mag release. All right, the shorter end will be in this little channel right here. So if you forget, that'll be the best way to orient it when we're putting it back together. Go ahead and take your little micro flathead, and what I like to do is I get on that little edge right there and I'm just going to pop it out. Takes a little finesse. There it is. All right, so now that it's popped out, you can take your needle nose pliers, pull it right out. And see this little long leg right here with the curve on it? That's what's going inside the mag release, this long leg right here. All right, there's our little plastic mag release right there. All right, now let's go ahead and do a side-by-side comparison. So we'll take our MCARBO steel mag release. It works for the P3AT and the P32. Fantastic improvement. This is carbon steel, stress-proof steel. Let's go ahead and compare it side by side with the actual plastic one. It's a molded part, so you'll notice some major differences between the two. All right, so here you go. Pretty massive differences. You can see this is the molded plastic part. There's a lot of burrs hanging off of it. There's a lot of seam lines. It's not a precision part. It's going to be a lot more variation with it, being that it is a mold, and molds will wear over time. This is something too that will wear. As this plastic, this is the engagement area here, as that locates, and you can see this is already worn, as that starts to impact the steel magazine, we're gonna have problems there. This is eventually gonna wear, might even break. All right, so here's your side-by-side comparison. You can see the carbon steel replacement on the top there. It looks like the American flag. Nice, smooth serrations in there. Beautiful. Took a little nice ball end mill to get that in there. Just well done. Excellent machining. Then you can see the part line here on the plastic part. Not even really even. It's almost like two different sizes stacked on one another. It's very, it's not precision. It's just what it is. It's, you know, mass production. Now here you go, you've got the steel replacement up top. It's slightly longer, so it is an extended magazine release. And now you've got the plastic portion down here. It's a little bit more rounded, and it's also got a part line in the middle, so it can get a little uncomfortable. And it's also very much prone to wear. You know, that's something that you can see here too, where the hole placement is for the spring. It's already somewhat bulging in the center, right? And you've got this nice milled out precision hole right there. Nice sharp contour locating portion of the actual mag release for the magazine. And you can see here the wear marks on the plastic one right here from the magazine impacting it. So this is what locates inside the magazine. You can see it already wearing there. So not good, not for longevity. This is lifetime longevity, performance, and function. Some nice little serrations there. It's extended, good square, solid piece of steel, carbon steel, stress proof. Fantastic. Really excited about this. Let's go ahead and put this baby in. All right, so the P3AT right here and the P32 right here, pretty much the same process, pretty much the same size frame for each of them. The steel mag release will fit in both platforms, so it's no big deal. Here's the P32 right here, a little bit more narrow of a channel, as you can see right there. And then the P3AT, a little bit wider. But the process is exactly the same. So what you're gonna do is take your little micro flathead and just get it down in there, pry it out. Now it may come flying out at you. That's not the most ideal. So if you can, the best way is to just pop it slowly. Don't pop it quickly like I just did there. And it comes right out just like that, simple. Then you're gonna take your carbon steel replacement, slide it right in. All right, and then you wanna orient your spring like this. Now I'm gonna grab the pliers. Needle nose pliers are a big assist. Have it at like a 45-degree angle, just like that, and it's gonna drop right in to that hole, right? And then we'll take our larger flathead and we're gonna push down and over, all right? Push down and over, just like that. All right, and you can see, so that short end is locating on the right side here, and that longer end located right down in the hole on the actual mag release. All right, so the P3AT is done. Look at that, it functions perfectly. So we'll set that aside. Now we're gonna do the same thing on the P32 right here. All right, so the P32's got a little bit more of a narrow channel right here, so take your micro flat tip and just go straight up with it. It'll just pry straight up. Just don't want it to go flying away on you. So straight up just like that, and take notice of the orientation. It was the same way, where that long leg's going into the mag release, right? So now go ahead and pop out. You can feel even on the plastic one, it's a little snug. So I guarantee we're gonna test fit this one, and this one hasn't been modified at all. You are gonna have to clear out some of those rough spots. We're gonna test fit, so the hole's facing up, right? And we're gonna slide it right in. Little small end going in to the big hole so it can go through the little hole on the opposite side, and you can see, man, that is snug. So we have to open that up a little bit. It's polymer, it is what it is. I mean, it's not going to be a precise shape. It's going to be a little oblong. So I'm going to take this little file right here, and I'm just going to hit these corners. And this is going to make all the difference in the world. I'm just cleaning it up. You could do the same with some sandpaper, right? Don't go overboard, because you want to just clean it up and then just kind of test fit. And then you could even take the razor blade and just do a little kind of cleaning up as well. And then you're going to test the fit, you know, the hole facing up. It's going to go right in like this through the other side. And you can also more or less break it in by, you know, pushing it through, but it's still pretty snug. So what we're going to do is grab the razor blade and just kind of go around the perimeter there. All of these frames are going to be different. I mean, these are molded parts, so it's pretty much always going to be that sort of thing where you have to clean up the edges, and you're more or less making a little extra clearance so that this part will fit and function much more smoothly. And it helps to sand this stuff a little bit. Now, even with the plastic mag release, it didn't fit or function very well. It was pretty stiff, and there was a lot of rub. So the goal is to make sure that it functions smoothly, nicely. It's still a little bit stiff there, so just hit it a little bit more. You can always take material away, you can't put it back on, so just be mindful of that. You want to test as you go. All right, there it is. So it should move nice and freely in the actual P32. It's going to take a little bit more shaving, obviously, because it is a bit of a smaller gap here. It's a solid fit, really fantastic upgrade for the P32 and the P3AT. I love that it's universal. I mean, it's so close. These frames are nearly identical. There are some features that are obviously a little bit different, but works great. Steel magazine and mag release, so it's a nice combo to have together. Really should make sure that you've got a nice range of motion here, or it should function smoothly. You know, you want to make sure that you've got enough clearance in there for the steel mag release to function back and forth like it should. It shouldn't be stiff. So you want to, obviously, like we were just talking about there, go in through it a little bit at a time, testing it, making sure the fit and function are perfect the way you want it before you put it all back together. So this is a good time to verify, but absolutely fantastic. Works for the P32 and the P3AT. Really amazing. Really love this new mag release. All right, now that we got our carbon steel magazine replacement installed, we need to go ahead and put the rest of it back together. Now this is your hammer block here. What we're gonna do is pry this up and push it forward when we put the aluminum internal frame in. So you'll see that it's combined, all happens at once. All right, so what we're gonna do is take the aluminum internal frame, we're gonna get it ready, take our trigger bar, go ahead and get it to locate on that little pin up front here. All right, and then this tab locates underneath the rest of the frame. You can see your hammers in here as well. We didn't remove that, not for this video. Now we're going to take our little trigger return spring and wind it back and get it to locate underneath that trigger bar. And you'll notice on this trigger bar there's a little tiny notch right there cut out for the actual leg of the trigger return spring. So that's easy, nice, simple. So we're pinching both springs on both sides of the aluminum frame. Now the hammer spring catch, this plastic piece here, we're going to drop right into the magazine well like so, then rotate it, right, and then line that trigger up to drop right into the hole, and it's kind of nose diving as we've got these two springs pinched on either side, and we're pushing it down and forward. All right, but we want to leave a gap in the rear because what we want to do is push this hammer block forward. All right, take our micro screwdriver, push our hammer block all the way forward. And as we do that, we're going to push down on the frame and get it to seat. All right, and then pop it right out and good to go. All right, so just to check our work here, we want to make sure, there you go, you can see the hammer block right there. You can see that little curved portion. So you want to make sure you can pull it forward and it's not captured underneath the aluminum frame. So that's good. All right, now we can go ahead, drop in the frame pins and then set the tension on the hammer. Before we set the tension on the hammer and we start moving all of the alignment around, let's go ahead and put those frame pins in. Now your frame pins may have some burrs on them. Once again, if this is something you guys would like us to do, we're all about it. You know, we run this company on suggestions from you guys. So it's really nice. Really makes our job a little bit easier. We don't have to be so creative. We just leave that up to you guys, whatever you request. So go ahead and get them started. All right. Obviously want to make sure the holes are lined up. Okay. Take our big hammer. I'm compressing this aluminum frame inside the plastic pistol grip. Take our big hammer and give it a few good taps. If you get any sort of serious resistance, that means that hammer block is not actually staged forward. It's still captured underneath the aluminum frame. And if that's the case, just do it all over again. Go ahead and pull the aluminum frame out, push that hammer block all the way forward. Make sure you push down on the frame and you actually got that hammer block up in front of the hammer, and you should be able to move it like so. All right. So that will be a big help. Now go ahead and take your regular flathead tip screwdriver and pull up on this hammer spring catch here. And what we want to do is get that hammer spring catch to locate in that channel. So you're going to pull up and push back. All right, it's under a good amount of tension. And if you want a steel or aluminum hammer spring catch replacement, just let us know. Ours is worn pretty bad from the constant disassembly reassembly here, but it is what it is. You guys won't have all that chewed up nonsense there. But now, all right, our hammer has got some good tension, so we can pull the trigger. Boom, look at that. Go ahead and set your hammer back. All right, so now the lower frame's back together. Let's go ahead and grab our slide, grab the barrel, drop the barrel right in. All right, we want to make sure it's flush, just like so. Now go ahead and grab your recoil spring and guide rod. I'm going to go ahead and replace this one with the 13-pound recoil spring that we sell and the stainless steel guide rod. Fantastic, phenomenal improvement for the P3AT. We've also got one for the P32, so it drops right in just like that. Excellent, fantastic improvement over the factory plastic guide rod. Now we'll go ahead and take the frame and this slide, get them located, slide back on it, just a hair. Make sure that you can still see all the way through, that there's no interference there in that takedown pin hole. Take your takedown pin, go ahead and push it in at an angle so it hits that spring, and then pop it right in. Now if you hit a little resistance, push it back a little bit further on that slide, and it'll go right in just fine. There we go, nice. Yeah, there we go. All right, now go ahead and drop your mag in. Beautiful. Oh man, that's nice. That feels amazing. Love it. All right. Well, there you have it, guys. A fantastic improvement for your KEL-TEC P3AT or your P32 pocket pistol. Really phenomenal extended magazine release at a stress-proof carbon steel. Just can't beat it. All that machining and phenomenal intricacies that went into this part. Really impressed with it. Love it. Really can't wait to get your feedback, and that's the most important thing. Any other ideas you guys have for these pistols or any sort of KEL-TEC platforms, we're excited to listen to you and hear about them and put them into action. Thank you, MCARBO Brotherhood, for your ideas and your support, and as always, happy shooting.